What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Last night, the Las Vegas Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking, what is going on? Now, I will say I have seen some insane crash outs from fans on social media in my live stream comment section. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys what I observed, what I think is going on, and also just bring us down a notch because some of the things that I'm seeing are actually insane. So anyway, with all of that, let's jump right in. And let's first talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue shooting. Now, if you are a shooter, a lot of times if you're not feeling your outside shot, you will do other things in order for you to get more touches on the ball and just get a feel for it, and then you will feel more confident to shoot those long range shots. And that was exactly what she was doing during the game. She was feeding the ball to Aaliyah Boston. She was getting her teammates involved. She was taking it to the rim, and she did miss some shots around the rim, but at least she was getting downhill. But this shot in particular, and I will show you guys a screenshot of the play, she was wide open from the top of the key, and I feel like that's the first time that I've ever seen Caitlin pass up an open shot from 3. And I really hated it in that moment because I hope, if nothing else, I hope that it's not getting to her mind, because a mental block is so much harder to break than a cold streak when it comes to shooting. And we have seen over the past few games and the past couple seasons actually that there has been so much drama in the WNBA. There has been so much surrounding Caitlin Clark, and through all of this, she has handled it better than I think any celebrity has ever handled any kind of spotlight on them. There has been a target on her. There has been a spotlight on her for her first 2 seasons in the WNBA, and she has handled all of it with grace. She has shown up for every big moment. In the big games, she plays to the best of her ability, and that is something that impresses me the most about Caitlin Clark. And I feel like this was the very first time that we saw maybe a dip in her confidence or something else was going on. And I don't want to speculate and say that it is that. She might also be sick. She might also still be dealing with a lingering injury, and that was something else that kind of concerned me a little bit. The only other time that we have seen Caitlin Clark miss the way that she is missing was right before they announced that she had a quad injury. Again, these are just the things that are going through my mind. However, I'm not worried about her shooting ability. She has proven to us time and time again throughout her college career, throughout her rookie season, and also during this season. If you guys remember, we are only 3 games removed from the New York Liberty game where she had 7 threes. She had 3 in 38 seconds. Like, that was only just last week that all of that happened. And so it's not like all of a sudden she's just going to lose her magic and that's going to be it. I think what I'm worried or concerned about, and what a lot of fans are concerned about, we don't want to see Caitlin Clark lose her confidence on the court. We don't want to see her energy be drained from her. We don't want to see her lose that spark, because that is the DNA of Caitlin Clark. Even her not getting like super hype on the court, not, clapping, seeing all those animations that we would normally see from her in other games. We didn't see that in this Las Vegas Aces game. Now, a lot of fans are also saying that she kind of sounded sick, and in her post-game presser, it did look like maybe she was sick, maybe she was sad.
I think the little things, we've kind of just shot ourselves in the leg consistently doing that.
But I guess through all of this, what I'm trying to say is we do not know what is going on. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. We don't know what's going on at practice. And we for sure as hell do not know what's going on inside of Caitlin Clark's mind. So if you are an Indiana Fever fan, the last thing that she needs is people turning on her because she had an off shooting night. And it's also crazy to say, like, yes, she struggled that game. There were things that seemed off about her game. However, she still put up 19 points and 10 assists. She still had a double-double in that regard, and she had 3 rebounds as well. But we also have to remember, you guys, this Indiana Fever team is under such a microscope. We are breaking down, going over every single game that they play. And sometimes you just have an off night. If you saw the clip from before this game, the Indiana Fever were shooting 3-pointers back to back to back to back. And I think they made 18 in a row. And it was like a new player shot and they kept going to see how many they could make. They made 18 in a row before this game. The girls were excited. The girls were hype. It just happens, you guys. Sometimes players have bad games. Sometimes coaches have bad games. And I do want to share with you guys what Caitlin Clark had to say after the game about her shooting slump.
Are you feeling off at all from threes or anything like that?
No, I mean, there's going to be stretches that are really good, and there's going to be stretches that aren't as good, and obviously it's frustrating. You want them to go in, and even tonight I felt like there was a few that like felt really good off my hand, and it just didn't go down. And you know, even the mid-range jump shot to start the fourth quarter and the 3 to start the fourth quarter, like they both felt good off my hand. So it's just like it's just frustrating. And I think for the challenge for myself going forward is just, you know, continue to pour into every other aspect of the game, and I can continue to have an impact in, you know, all those other areas. I thought I got to the rim well. It was just, you know, certainly a tough shooting night, and you know, I got to find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in. But for me, I don't feel like it's, you know, anything that's off necessarily.
And as you can see in this post-game presser here, it is Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston, and this game was the Aaliyah Boston show, especially in the first half. Aaliyah Boston went off for 18 points, and Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah were running that pick and roll over and over and over. And I was even saying during my live stream, I was like, they have run this play 17 times, and it has worked 17 times. Why wouldn't you continue to go to this play if the Aces are not going to make adjustments? But what the Aces did do really well in the second half is they made adjustments to that play and they shut it down for the most part, and Aaliyah Boston only had 8 points in the second half. Now, what I will also say is we were on Superstar Watch with Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, and A'ja Wilson also had a rough first half. I believe she only had 5 points in the first half. She was missing a lot of bunnies. She was missing a lot of points in the paint that she would normally make. But in the second half, A'ja Wilson stepped up big time, and she ended the game with 24 points, 2 blocks, and 7 rebounds. And in the second half is when it really felt like it went downhill for the Indiana Fever. They were playing with pace in the beginning of the game, and it seems like they completely went away with that in the second half. The Aces came out, they changed some of their defensive schemes, and they made it hard for the Indiana Fever. And a lot of people were also complaining about the free throw discrepancy between these two teams. The Aces ended the game shooting 21 free throws, and the Indiana Fever only shot 9. Now, of course, that's a crazy discrepancy, but I'm going to tell you guys once again, we've talked about the physicality, we've talked about the refs, we've talked about the lopsidedness, we've talked about the special whistles that some players and some teams get, and it still seems like nothing is going to change. So if nothing is going to change, you guys, then the Indiana Fever have to do better in general. Like, you cannot count on the refs. If you know that you're not going to get these calls, you have to do your best to play through. Now, has all of that gotten to this team and broken them down and made it harder for them to keep focus and power through? Possibly. But when you go up against a team like the Las Vegas Aces, you cannot have it be a close game at the end of the game and think that you are going to test your odds and going to come out with a win when you are in Vegas at the Las Vegas Aces home arena with the kind of whistle that you know that they have. And if we're talking about the Aces special whistle, this play in particular was one that changed the momentum of the game. It was in the fourth quarter, and I thought it was called so very wrong. As you can see, Jackie Young here is handing the ball off to A'ja, and then I don't know if this was supposed to be a screen. I don't know what she was exactly doing here, but she kind of comes in there. She's moving. She moves her body into Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston doesn't really have much space to move, and they called this a foul on Aaliyah Boston. Now, the referees went to the board. They were reviewing the play, and the play stood on the court. I thought that this was a completely missed call. I don't know how you review this and you still call the foul on Aaliyah Boston. It was clearly a moving screen. Even the commentators were saying, I don't agree with that. Like, I do not agree with that. It should have been called the other way. But that's an example. This happened in the fourth quarter. It changed the momentum of the game. But the Indiana Fever just, at this point in time, it doesn't seem like anything is changing. And I'm not sure when and if that will happen. It's Coach Stephanie White's job to make sure that she is challenging things when she needs to, that she is the one complaining to the higher ups. She is the one who is getting in the ref's face if she needs to get in the referees' faces during the game. But this was a play that really stood out to me, and I was shocked when I was watching it live. Now, what I also thought was kind of crazy is it was only a 6-point game with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Aces were up, and a lot of people in my live chat were losing faith, and it felt like the whole energy of the Indiana Fever team was just down. Now, in that final quarter, Kelsey Mitchell stepped up big, and Caitlin Clark did make some big plays down the stretch to get them back within 2, but it just wasn't enough for the Indiana Fever to overcome this Las Vegas Aces team. But what we saw from the Aces is we saw the fight from the Aces. We saw them making adjustments, and we saw them adapting, and that was just something that the Fever did not do. Now, the Indiana Fever have another game tomorrow against the Seattle Storm. It is their third game on this road trip, and that's also going to be a very tough game. Now, I hope that they can come out there with some energy, get it done, get back home, so they can end this road game streak on a higher note than it's at. But the run and gun, the quick system, the high energy system that the Indiana Fever plays is truly the only way that they can win games, and we have seen it now for 13 games. When they play fast, when they play quick, when they play with high energy, when they play with a chip on their shoulder, when they play a little bit gritty, those are the games that they win. Now, before we go, you guys, I do want to talk about the DeWanna Bonner situation. She is still not back with the team, and the Indiana Fever are still giving the reason that it is a personal reason as to why she is out, but I believe this is now the 5th game that DeWanna Bonner has been gone. Her banner was not hung up in the Indiana Fever's home arena. There is stuff going on social media. I don't want to speculate any further. I do not know what is going on. I hope all is okay with her. I hope all is okay with the team. But we also have to take that into consideration, as maybe that's part of the reason that the morale of the team might be down. DeWanna Bonner, who was brought in to be a leader, to be a veteran, is not with the team. And I do think in this point in time, when they have a couple losses back to back, she is somebody who could be in that locker room and could be uplifting her team. She's had these moments before throughout her career. Like, she could be somebody who keeps the team together, and she is just not there. So once again, I hope all is okay with DB. I hope all is okay within the Indiana Fever's locker room, but all signs are pointing to, I'm just not so sure if she will be returning to the Fever. But with that, you guys, that is all that I have for today. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week. And with that, I'll see you next time. Ooh, and